many questions because I don't know if I'm the only one, but all the time I watch like military movies or like action movies, I have like so many questions and I have like so many curiosity about like how everything works. So for once, we have like somebody that been there, did all of it, and we can ask all the questions we want, right?
Yeah, ask away.
Uh, let's start with how did you decide to go to the military?
Yeah, I was, just a very precocious young boy, very active. And when I was in college, I just, at a certain point, I just realized I didn't want to be sitting in a classroom all day.
Yeah, doctor.
Yeah, my dad's doc,
Yeah,
so that was the original path, but I really just didn't see myself doing that and started exploring going into the military.
that's awesome. Um, how long it takes to get into the military, and how long it takes to complete like a course, and which type of course did you do in the military?
Well, to answer your first question, that the getting in the military doesn't, at least on the enlisted side, because that's what I did, doesn't take too long unless the job that you're going for, unless there's like a big backlog of that. Special operations, they typically there's not too many people are doing it.
So how did you learn about like pararescue? Because you just mentioned pararescue. I don't think I ever heard it.
Yeah, nobody really. It's like nobody knows what pararescue is. It's like the like worst kept secret in the sense that like it's a secret for like no reason, but we do some pretty cool stuff, I think.
Like what?
Well, I mean, we attach to like all the Green Berets and the SEALs and whatnot, and
Okay.
all the other special operations team. We do all the same shit, and then we do like medicine and rescue and stuff on top of it.
So what's the difference between you, a SEAL, Navy SEAL?
Yeah,
That's how
Navy
you call
SEAL.
it?
Yeah.
What's the difference between like you and a Navy SEAL? Like, and how do you call yourself like in the military? You guys are like special operation pararescue or pararescue?
I just really PJ, pararescue.
PJ.
Pararescue jumper, is the full name, but
Yeah.
just PJ for short.
And what's the difference between
So
you and the Navy SEAL?
yes, like Navy SEALs, they can operate unilaterally, like as a team. Like they have all their own teams with all their own like roles.
Okay.
But like pararescuemen, we, except for like on rescue missions where it's like only rescue, we don't operate like as a unilateral team operationally.
What do
So
you mean?
we'll we attach to like a SEAL team or a Green Beret team or a Ranger team as like an additional man on their
That
team.
always?
Not
Like
always.
you're just like a plus one?
Yeah, I mean it just depends. Like so,
Not just like a plus one. Like you guys are like an addition.
Yeah, in addition to the team. So it depends if it's like a special tactics mission or like a rescue mission. So rescue, it's typically like 2 helos or helicopters of like 4 PJs each, and then if you're on the STS side, you're like a one man show with like attached to another team.
When was your first deployment?
First deployment was about 6 months or so after I got my beret. I did like another train up and then left like right after that, like a couple months after that.
My question was like, I'm gonna cut this. Where was your first deployment?
Where was my first deployment? Not when was it? The question that you asked was when.
Where was your first deployment?
So where was it? Was Afghanistan.
What in Afghanistan? Immediately after like school, they send you right straight to Afghanistan.
Pretty much, yeah. So it's like right after.
That's crazy.
Well, it's the job.
How old you were?
I was 20, probably 23-ish, something like that. Maybe
so
24.
You just get out of college, start this crazy training, and after how long you were deployed to Afghanistan?
How long was I in
After
Afghanistan?
how? So you were just fresh out of college. You did your training.
Yeah.
You passed all the training. And where and after how long was your first deployment?
So, yeah, I mean, after 2.5 years of training, basically, went straight to Afghanistan right after that.
So the whole training is like 2.5 years. And how many people usually enroll in the training, and how many people actually graduated from?
Yeah, so my class in particular is around like 144, 145, something like that.
Okay.
And then like 6 or 7 of us graduated from the
By the
class.
end of the 2 years.
By the end of the 2 years, the people that were graduated in my class, I think only 5 of us graduated over the whole thing after that. So we lost a few along the way too.
You clearly
Yeah, a couple.
100
Couple.
and
Well, once you
how many?
graduate from the indoctrination course, we lost a couple more.
Yeah. So first deployment in Afghanistan, how was that?
It was great, honestly. It
What do you
was
mean it was great?
well, it was a good deployment. You know, saw a lot of action. You know,
We
had
we
some
want to know about the juicy thing.
yeah, you know, just some good battles. You know, like
What do you mean?
some good gunfights. You know, we killed some bad guys. I saved some good guys' lives. You know, it was a good deployment.
Did you always? I don't know, because when you tell me like you were a PJ, I always envision your like myself envision sorry you jumping like out of a plane and just arrive and help everybody else in need. Like we're always like this, kind of like a Superman, like
Yeah,
vision, or you were
I wish I could do that.
right, or you were like on a battlefield too.
Yeah, no, it was battlefield stuff. I mean, predominantly everything I did was on the special tactics side. So I was, you know, again attached to like a Green Beret team, and we're doing direct action mission sets, so just finding bad guys to kill, basically.
Like,
And
can you guide me in like a day when like you woke up? What do you do? Let's say you that day you have a mission. How that works? What
yeah,
that look like
yeah. So we typically leave it at night, right? So you know, during the like,
at night?
yeah.
Okay.
So like before that, you know, we're you know, getting all of our equipment ready, you know, making sure we're packed out for like a couple days. You know, we do our final briefings, all that kind of shit, make sure we know where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
We've got all of our equipment, yada yada yada. And this time, these missions we were going with the ANA,
What ANA mean?
the Afghan National Army guys, like, but they're like commandos. They're
Who are those people?
the Afghanis military.
So you guys also work with the like there is like a like let's say you go to Afghanistan, you also have like people that work for the Afghani military then are working with you Americans.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, the whole point was to try to like teach them to, um, you know, be able to do their own missions and protect the country, which obviously they failed miserably at once we left. Um, but we knew that was going to happen. So yeah, they were. We'd go with them and try to
Okay.
teach them, but they were awful, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay. Should we keep this?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like it was what it
Oh,
was.
okay, but we start all this, and I was like, I'm very curious about like how a typical day with a mission is. Like you wake up in the morning.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we do all the prep stuff. We get on the CH-47s, and
What
then
is
we
a H-47?
CH-47 is the big helo with the two props in line, like the big helicopter.
Thank you, helicopter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then we load up. You know, we fly to the you know, the X wherever the mission's at,
Okay.
and the village. You know, typically. So we're doing a lot of like village clearing stuff, and
Question.
yeah.
What is a village clearing? And do you how that works? Like, do you guys like wake up and then tell you like, hey, today you have this person you need to follow? Like, you have a picture of the person, then that's your target, or like how that works? Like, what you guys do? Like, how do you know? Like, what's the information they give you about the mission?
Yeah, so you know, before the mission stuff, we've got these guys on the Green Beret side at least. They're called like the Foxtrots. Those are the guys that do all the intelligence gathering. You know, we've got networks of informants and you know SIG intelligence, signal intelligence, and human intelligence stuff like that. That kind of tell them like where we need to go. They put the missions together. They send it up to higher, you know, to the up the chain of command to like get sign off on it, and then that's how we get our missions, basically.
You guys have like pictures of your targets?
Yeah, typically, or we get pictures, or we have some kind of information on who they look like or what they're doing, etc.
Like they're like, especially like in Afghanistan, most of them like wear like a hat, they have like a long beard. How difficult is to find the right target, that one that you're looking for? It's not that easy, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mixture of, when we go do the village clearing stuff, we know that the guy's like supposed to be in the village. Maybe we got to ping off his cell phone, or we got some guy who calls us up and tells us
so they
there.
can ping the cell phone, so they can kind of track whether he's moving or not.
Could be, yeah. It just depends on, like, again, what kind of intelligence or assets we have out there. And then, so we get in there, and we basically, when we do the village clearing, we get in at night, and we go through get into the houses and stuff at night.
So you wake them up.
Yeah,
even if like they're regular civilian, you waking them
up. Yeah, because we gotta get all the people. We get their like biometrics. We see like if they're good guys or bad guys, stuff like that. And then we do that at night, and we find out who it is.
Why do that at night?
Because they're sleeping.
Okay.
Because we have superiority at night. We have night vision goggles. We have the aircraft with IR, all that kind of stuff. So it's better and easier to do it, safer.
And how it works with the informant? Who are the informant, and how you guys find them?
Yeah, I mean, it's that is not really like my wheelhouse. Nothing I'm like super spun up on, but they just kind of standard stuff like you would imagine. They find somebody who's like willing to give information. Maybe they pay him money, whatever. Befriend them, give them something.
We watch a movie about Afghan informant, especially. It was about Afghanistan.
It was a translator.
What was a translator? It's not kind of like the same type of thing?
No.
It's completely different.
Yeah, translators are just there to translate, like, commands and stuff like that over there.
And the format is just like that one, and specifically give you like information.
Yeah.
About the person, or it's like somebody, then it's like a snitch. If you want to call it.
Yes.
Can you call it a snitch?
I guess you could.
Do these people, by the end of their service with like, America or the United States, have any advantage besides like money?
I have no idea, honestly.
Like, do they
never kept up with any of that?
Do they take them, bring them to America?
I doubt it. Know. I doubt it. But I don't know.
That's very interesting. So if you're a snitch, you can get paid, basically.
Again, I'm not aware of the specifics, but imagine some stuff like that.
Why do you think these people decide to do that?
Well, the Taliban were pieces of shit.
So, step back. Afghanistan, when you go to Afghanistan, you exclusively are trying to catch Talibans.
I mean, there's a bunch of different, like,
There are any other group, because the most famous is the Taliban.
Yeah, I mean, there's like ISIS and, Taliban.
ISIS and Taliban is not the same thing?
No, they're two separate groups.
Separate entities.
Yeah, they're all just offshoots of different kinds of, Islamic terrorists.
Yeah.
Or extremists, however you want to call it.
So that was your first mission, Afghanistan.
Afghanistan's first deployment, yeah.
Which one you catch more, Taliban or ISIS people?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you.
Why?
I don't know. I don't remember. 1, 2, it's not like I'm like, ooh, is this guy Taliban? Is this guy ISIS?
I don't know. Like, how do you recognize if somebody is ISIS or Taliban? Is because they tell you, or you can recognize the difference?
I don't know. I was pretty much just like there for shooting the bad guys and patching up the good guys that got injured. I didn't really care too much about who we were killing or whatever. It was just like,
I have to do what I have to do.
I was like, is there these bad guys they're shooting at us? Okay, cool. Kill them.
What's the most crazy memory you have about Afghanistan? What is the moment where you felt like, I might die today, if you have any?
Yeah, I mean, there was a few times, we were just getting like pretty heavily rained on.
Rained on mean like shoot on?
Yeah, it's like.
Sorry, I'm translating for the people out there.
Yeah, well, it's.
I'm kind of familiar because I'm married to him, but it's not that easy, if you're not part of it.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, a couple times, where bullets are impacting like very very closely, and you're like, oh man, or like people getting shot like next to you, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit. But that a couple times, most of the time you're so focused kind of like on the job where you're just like, the all the training just kicks in, and you just
Like
know
muscle
what,
memory.
yeah, you just know what to do, and you just go execute, and then that's it. You don't really
Think about
have time to think about that.
You don't think about the consequences. You don't really have. Did you ever had like a moment where you have to, where you remember you specifically were like in a very shitty situation, and you're like, "Fuck, I might like die here right now."
No, not really. I mean, there's times where like I definitely could have, but you're not really thinking about that. You're just thinking you're really not thinking, quite honestly. You're just like, this is what I need to do.
Yeah,
And you just
like a
do it.
machine.
Yeah. You're just like, all right, these guys fucked up over here. I need to get to them. All right, suppressing fire, whatever. You move some people around, whatever you need to do, and then go get the guy, patch him up, whatever you need to do. Or maybe you need to kill the enemy first. Just totally depends. But you just again follow the training that
Yeah.
you've taken.
Well, because I'm your wife and I know that, tell me about the time you got rewarded with a Bronze Star medal.
The Bronze Star with Valor.
Bronze Star Valor. I don't know the difference, guys. I'm just repeating things
I can't tell
that
you how
sounds
many times she
familiar
just
to
says
me.
Bronze Star medal.
It's not the same.
No,
I'm sorry.
I guess you could kind of say it that way. But
it is what it is.
there's a difference between the Bronze Star and Bronze Star of Valor.
You get a medal about something.
Yeah. Well, so this one was one of those situations where I was like, oh man, it's kind of like a hairy situation, obviously.
How did that start? How did that start?
Yeah, just like any other mission. We're clearing village, and it was
nighttime or daytime?
It was night, but when we got there, the village was like really narrow alleyways, which is like kind of, it was atypical, and then there's a lot of vegetation. So we actually didn't get through the entire village, so we only got about halfway through. So when we bedded down for the night, like right before the dawn, just
how many people?
Rest, maybe like 50 people, I think.
Okay.
Decent amount of people. 40, 50, like 12. I don't think we took both teams out that day. I think it was just one team. So it's like 12 SF guys plus like
what
all
SF
the
mean?
special forces guys, Green Beret guys, and then like the attachment guys. So I think there was like 18 to 20 Americans, and then like the rest Afghani, like 30, 20, 40 Afghani. So anyway, we like get halfway through the village, and we're like, shit, we're not gonna make it through because it's too dense. And we're like, all right, we're definitely gonna have a fight the next day. So sure as shit, like when dawn comes, they like as soon as prayer's done and they're done having their tea or whatever, it's like rounds start cracking off, and we're fighting up there, and we're kind of fighting for a while, and then eventually we try to like go around them, and when we going around them, one of the guys just gets shot like right in the leg by like they were waiting for us basically to come around.
So it was like an ambush.
I wouldn't say it was like an ambush. It was more like they were just waiting for us, basically. So like, because they were still pretty far away, it wasn't like any kind of L ambush.
Because they're like in the village in this moment.
Yeah, we're in the village.
Halfway through.
Kind of halfway through, yeah, just kind of skirting off to the side, still inside the village, and the guy gets shot, like just blast right through his tibia. I think it was definitely like a PKM, which is like a 7.62 round, like a pretty big round. And so he was like fucked up Afghani guy. So bring him back, patch him up.
You did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I patch him up, give him some ketamine.
And in that moment, like when you say patch him up, like, are you able to remove the bullet?
No. You're
how
not,
that
like,
works?
You're not like removing a bullet. Most of the time, bullets like they bounce around in your body, which I'll get to in a little bit. But for him, like it actually went, and it broke his tibia actually, because it's just such a high impact. Broke his tibia, so basically I just like splint it, tourniquet it if I need to, and then just like start giving him some like fluids and some drugs.
You say ketamine.
Yeah, so give
something
ketamine
that
for
you guys
pain.
you use.
Yeah, it's really good for pain.
Okay.
And there's like very little other physiological effects. Like morphine drops blood pressure. It's like not that good on the battlefield.
Okay.
Um, so anyway, I patch him up, and we're like, okay, we can just kind of leave him here because it's nothing like super serious.
You
Like,
leave him by himself or with other people?
No, of course not.
I don't know.
It's like,
Like,
hey, everybody,
like
just chill. We're gonna leave you out here. Like,
you're talking with
What?
with someone that doesn't know absolutely anything.
Yeah, so
I mean, I know a few
let me ask
things
you,
right now.
you're gonna patch up a guy in a war zone. And you're just gonna patch him up and then just like leave him off to the side.
I don't know. It depends if they keep shooting at me or no. I guess.
No, so we like obviously he's in the compound. We bring him back to the compound and I'm patching him up there. He's there. We're with a bunch of people. So
Okay.
he's
safe.
He's fine.
He's fine. Okay. He survived.
Yes, he survived.
Okay. Okay.
And then at that point we're like, all right, fuck it. Like we're not gonna go around like because they're kind of waiting for us. We got a lot of people.
So they shoot just him.
Yeah, he just got him in that time, and then so I get up to the roof and I'm fighting from the roof, a couple Afghani guys, and there's like an SF guy to my right, and we're fighting, blah blah blah. One of the Afghani guys to my left like gets shot. I'm like, oh shit.
Another one.
Yeah, another
They're
one.
only shooting freaking Afghani. They're shooing their own people.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Honestly.
But
and who's shooting? The ISIS or Taliban?
This is Taliban guys.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. So anyway, like they shoot this guy, so I run over there, run over where he's at, pull him off the roof, so I can start treating him. And so I'm like treating him, patching him up, whatever. He's a little fucked up, and then like all of a sudden the other guy gets shot.
Another guy is like
another Afghani guy gets shot.
They all Afghani, poor people.
So yeah, it's like and the crazy thing is they both got shot almost identical entrance wounds.
Like where?
So like both on the upper right shoulder.
Okay.
And so like basically like kind of in the delt here.
Right here.
Yeah, a little bit lower, but. Like my thought is that there was probably like some guy with like a old like Russian Dragunov sniper or something like that, and he like didn't have it zeroed correctly, so he was probably like, aiming at the head, but it was like kept hit the same spot on both the guys.
So your job was patch them up and still shoot and defend, like and attack.
When I need to. Obviously, like, I pulled them behind cover because obviously it can't be exposed in. Be treating those guys. Yeah, so like on a roof, but there's like a little kind of like ledge, so I pulled them below.
Okay.
And so I'm like treating them. One guy had like almost like we call like a Hollywood shot where it was like almost like through and through, but it went through his like back or shoulder here and exited kind of like the top left of his shoulder, just a little bit behind. And then the other guy was much worse off.
Still Afghani.
Shot in the shoulder, but it exited his lower back.
Ooh.
So I was saying earlier, bullets bounce around a lot. So he ended up dying. So it probably like dissected his aorta or something like that. We're not sure.
Did he die like right there?
No, not right there. He actually I did a lot to like try to keep him alive, and he was alive for quite a while, for a couple hours, I think, more or less. But anyway, we end up like packaging him up. I stabilize him, get him ready for transport. Call like up to my captain. I'm like, hey, like we need a helo. I need to exfil these guys. Got
helo is the helicopter.
Patients. Yeah, helicopter.
Okay.
And so like as we're leaving, I'm getting the patients together and get some Afghanis to try to like help me. But of course, the Afghanis are lazy and they didn't want to help their own people. They didn't want to like carry the litters. So I've got like one guy on my shoulder. The guy that was like with the through and through that was like not as bad on the shoulder.
The Hollywood one.
Yeah. The guy was really fucked up. I had his feet and the other guy had his head. And then the other guy was on the separate litter ahead of us. So we're like leaving and it was like, again, it was a really channelized like village. So narrow. And so we're kind of coming to this like T intersection. So it's like the road here and then the T's up here. Bunch of like a bunch of like Taliban guys.
Could you see them?
I didn't see them at the time, but like the first guys I kind of cross, and then I'm crossing with the second guy, and they start like shooting at us, like bullets just skipping here.
So they could have shoot you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You couldn't be here.
Yes,
You wouldn't be married to me.
yes, true. I would be dead. But fortunately, I didn't get shot, and
It's mind blowing.
and so they like drop they drop him. The fucking Afghanis drop the guy in the middle. I'm like, I fucking like almost fall over. I'm like, shit. And so I like run
Because
across
they're
the way.
lazy.
Yeah, I mean they're just like, you know, they're not as well trained as us and stuff, obviously.
Okay.
But anyways, I run, take the guy that's on my shoulder, put him down on the wall. They're still trying to shoot the guy. And I'm like, hey, I need like somebody to fucking cover, shoot some fire.
Of course.
Over there. So the guy's like shoot some fire down the alleyway here. So I'm like on the other side now. He's shooting up here. So I run out, grab the guy, drag him behind the wall, and kind of just come around.
And all this is open, and you have the Taliban here.
Yeah. So kind of just shooting down the alleyway. So kind of come around the corner and just like, you know, shoot the guys in the building, and, you know, fairly certain we killed them. And then we, you know, eventually made it to like where the command and control element was, and get the guys out. But like for a period, I was kind of sitting with the one guy who was really fucked up and treating him like, you know, I did like a chest tube, criked him, you know.
A what?
Cricothyrotomy. So just
oh,
like,
so is the thing that you see like in Grey's Anatomy? Then they cut you here and they put like a tube or like a straw.
Yeah, well, not a straw, but like a
real tube. Yeah. I mean, in your case, a real tube, but yes. You know they show in the movie.
Yeah, it's bullshit stuff, but yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So so I sat with them a while, you know, again, chest tubed him, did the crike, stuff like that, gave him some fluids.
How old he was?
I don't know. I have no idea.
More or less. 20, 30, 40?
You can never really tell those guys, quite honestly. Probably his like early 30s, maybe late 20s.
Damn, very young.
Yeah, so anyway, like, you know, he died, unfortunately. But the other two guys survived. We got him out, which was good. And then I just went back to fighting for the rest of the day, and then we eventually left that evening.
And that's how you got like your
Bronze Star of Valor. Yes. Yeah, so that's a story.
That's a crazy story, baby.
Yeah.
No many people can say something like that.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the kind of crazy thing is, you know, with the awards and stuff like that is, how
it works.
It's basically like, you know, if your team wants to put you in, which I'm grateful that those guys, you know, wanted to put me in for that. Like I was awarded by the Army and not the Air Force, which I'm actually very proud about.
Why you proud about it? Because like the Army is better than Air Force?
Well, because like, you know, the Air Force, like, you know, if your own people, like your own leadership, like, you know, it's kind of like a political thing, you know.
Okay.
They can like award their people, and they're like, oh, look, they got this award, like they got Bronze Star of Valor, they got a Silver Star or whatever. Like it makes them like look better, right? Like makes the commanders look better and stuff. So I was proud because it's like it did nothing for the Army guys. But the Army, that team wanted to put me in,
recognize that
for it, and and recognize. So I was, and still am like pretty proud about that.
Of course. And once they give you like, you know, this medal of valor or right,
Bronze Star of Valor,
Bronze Star of Valor, do you guys have any money with that?
No. It's just a medal.
How much they pay you guys? More or less, you don't have to. You don't have to give me a number.
Jack shit. I mean,
like to be in Afghanistan, example. You know, I will imagine personally as a civilian, right? That's how you guys like called us, like civilian life, civilian like word when you're going out of the military. Like once you're in the military and you do such a like crazy job and you risk your life and you save other people's life, how much do they pay you? You don't have to give me
not much. They don't really
give me a range. Okay, give me a range.
I think like
between 1,000 and 5,000, between 5,000 and 10,000 a month.
I want to say it's probably like 5,000 a month, maybe. I want to say like I don't know if I have like find this old W-2s, but
this is crazy.
I mean, the take home is like probably equivalent, you know, because they pay for like housing and like healthcare and stuff. Probably equivalent to like $100,000 a year, maybe. But your take home in pocket is probably like $30,000-$40,000 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not that much. You don't get paid much. You get paid jack shit. Yeah,
You didn't pay anything.
you get paid anything.
And it's just, excuse me, for the PJs or like in general. That's how it works in the military, as you know.
I mean, we get paid really well actually, for, compared to like the rest of the military, which is crazy.
So you guys get paid more?
Yeah, we get like the extra duty pays. You know, we get the skydiving pay, we get the air crew pay,
How
the
much is
combat
the
dive pay.
skydiving pay?
I want to say it was like 300 extra a month, or
Dollar?
350 or something.
Dollar.
Yeah. And then like dive, I think was like 150 a month, and then air crew pay was like 150 a
Are you
month or something
serious?
like that.
That's it.
Yeah, so I think total extra duty pays were like 750 a month, and then I think like base pay was like a
37.
couple $1,000 a month, maybe $4,000 a month, maybe.
Would you ever do this again?
Yeah, actually, I would. I loved it. It was a great time.
But
Obviously, my body's like all fucked up now, but I would.
oh yeah, well, I already know them. But what are some injuries that you took back home?
Basically, every joint has some kind of tear in it.
Do you have an explanation for the pain or
Yeah, I mean,
happened?
you know, it's
I
just,
remember you were telling me about an explosion and how you fucked up which part of your body?
Yeah, I mean, I like had like was semi thrown off a cliff, I guess you could say. But when I say cliff, it was like a 10-foot drop, land on the shoulder. And then
I know that shoulder hurts. I know ear hurts. I know you're deaf, and I'm deaf too,
deaf.
which
Just
almost.
some hearing loss.
I mean, I have hearing loss too. It's kind of like funny because we compensate each other. I've been a bartender for like 10 and plus years, actually 10 years, in a very crowded and loud bar at nighttime. So sometimes we call each other and he says something. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
For like 20 minutes. And I tell him something. He's like, yeah, yeah. And then the next day he's like, what did you tell me yesterday? You know, like we kind of like deaf together.
If there's any ambient noise, I am fucked. I can't hear shit.
So you have the hearing loss, the shoulder, the
knees, hip,
the knee,
you know,
the hip,
back, you know,
everything.
Everything's jacked up.
You see how much I love you? You see how I pick you up all broken?
Yeah, yeah. That's why I have to lift still, so I can just like my muscles can just try to keep everything in. That's my explanation, at least.
And what would you tell to a guy that want to pursue your career in the military?
Like being special operations.
Yeah.
You know, like a young guy. You know, it's. I would say that just maintain your focus. Like never quit is something that we would always say. Like we always say, "Who y'all never quit," and just know that this too shall pass. Like every iteration of like whatever suck that you're in, it'll pass eventually, and you'll
Just
make it through the
temporary.
other side. You're not gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
You'll make it through. It sucks in the moment, but you just push through. That really applies to everything in life, quite honestly.
That's very true. But specifically to some young kid, like who is the young kid then you think like you will do good in the military? It's somebody that already have discipline, then is very good in school, or somebody that can stay still on the chair because the chair is burning and you wanna like try to do something different and he doesn't know, or maybe he doesn't really have like all the discipline, but he can learn the discipline in military school.
Yeah, I mean, like I wasn't that disciplined. I mean, look, we've got guys that came from all walks of life. I mean, you guys that come from like very underprivileged, like didn't have degrees, and then you guys got to have like PhDs, and come from wealthy families. Like it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. I think you just, again, you just have to have the mentality to like never quit. Like if you like to push yourself in a myriad of ways, then like it's
The
something
military
that
is for you.
you should try it. Like yeah, I mean you should try special operations if the physical aspect is intriguing to you as
Yeah.
well.
And sometimes, actually not sometimes, I remember the first period, like, you know, we were like together and we were watching like all those like selection courses on Prime. There are like a bunch of like interesting TV shows about it. And I remember I asked you, like, there are things that you know about the military, about your time in the military, that you are not allowed to tell till you fucking die.
I mean, I wouldn't say anything like. I mean, there's probably some
Like, there are
classified
secrets.
stuff, but
Yes.
yeah, I mean, there's some things I can't talk about, but
Not even with me.
yeah, of course. I mean,
I'm your wife.
yeah, but yeah,
If I tell you that I'm gonna leave you, you wouldn't tell me.
no, I wouldn't.
So there are.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's not like mission stuff
I like
necessarily.
crazy thing like who was behind 9/11.
No, I don't get any of that stuff, unfortunately. More like just like tactical level stuff and some of the uh, different techniques and whatnot that we employ.
Okay. So there are things then you're not telling me.
Yeah, but it's nothing that's like really
Interesting.
would be you'd
Life
want to know, I
changing.
guess.
Maybe I do. Even if I do, you wouldn't tell me.
No, I wouldn't.
So you have secrets. That's interesting. And can you explain how it work when you get discharged with honor or without? How
Uh,
that work? Who decide that,
well, yeah, honorable discharge and dishonorable discharge.
and how you got discharged?
Yeah, I mean it's honorable discharge,
Okay.
but
Which means
which just basically means you didn't fuck up. You didn't get in trouble, I guess.
did you ever get in
There's,
trouble in the military?
I mean, not kind of, but not really.
Like I'm talking about like stupid things like you didn't wake up
Yeah, I mean,
or
like stuff here and there, I guess,
okay.
but um, no. So I mean, I guess to answer the rest of it,
Yeah.
there's the general discharge, which is like you fucked up, but like it wasn't egregious enough that like they were gonna take your benefits away.
So wait a second. So once you get out of the military, for you know, definitely American people know this, but maybe Italian people don't know this. You, if you are discharged with honor, you are entitled of like some benefits.
Yeah, so you get your GI Bill for like school. You get your if you've disabled, they give you like a VA disability rating that you get that. If you get your pension if you do your 20 years.
Insurance and all of that.
Yeah, stuff like that, health insurance. Yeah.
And if you are discharged without honor,
Yeah, dishonorable discharge, and you don't get any of that stuff.
oh my god,
Yeah.
doesn't matter how long you served.
No, like if you're in, I think there's some certain special circumstances where you might get like one benefit or whatever, but generally I think like they just strip it all away if like, and it's typically like you've been arrested
Like
and there's
what
like
did you
there's
do?
like criminal charges
Like
of some kind.
murder or something
I
like
mean,
that?
it doesn't even have to be that bad. Like it could be something like,
Really?
yeah, it could be like theft, and it
So
could be like doing drugs or whatever.
let me get it straight. Let's say that I've been in the military for 25 years. So I'm entitled for pension because you get a pension after 20 years, correct?
Yeah.
And after you leave the military, I think it's 10 years or whatever, you get
Yeah, I left after 10. Yeah.
whatever other benefits. So let's say then I'm out, right? I'm broke. I don't have $1 and I steal like some milk. I get arrested. Get me to jail. I'm giving you an example.
Broke?
I don't know. I'm just giving you an example. I want to see this. And I'm about to leave the military because I'm over. So this means that because I sold some milk, right? After 25 years of serving the military, almost being fucking killed every single day of my life, depending on where you went and what your mission was, they would my phone. Sorry, sounds weird, but that was my phone. That they could dismiss me as dishonorable.
Yeah, they could.
And I,
could
after
away.
25 years, because I stole a carton of milk, I
I
could
mean,
be
like
like,
I don't like that is.
example. I'm giving an extreme example.
I
Maybe you know I'm
don't know
extreme.
if they would charge you for theft for milk, a gallon of milk, but if it was something serious, like an actual legit criminal charge, then yes, they could strip everything away from you.
Crazy.
Well, I mean, it's don't be a criminal, I guess.
Ah, I guess. But sometimes it can just happen.
Yeah, the milk just fell in your pocket. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
uh, they can't.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And after, last question, once you get out of the military, do they provide you with like a program? They give you like a job out of the military? Like how that works?
Well, I think it's gotten a little bit better actually since I got out. But when I got out, they just did this like it was like the TAPS program. It was like Transition Assistance Program, something or other. Um,
Which was?
well, basically, like it's this bullshit course, honestly. But for I guess for me, like I never was really, I was always like learning stuff about regular life. I was never like I guess fully militarized, whatever you want to call it. Um, so I knew a lot of stuff. Like there's like how to budget, how to like buy
Yeah.
insurance, how to like you know do regular stuff in the real world that like most people should know how to do. Like it's basically bullshit like that, or like how to
Okay.
like make a resume, how to interview, and it's like dude, like
Yeah.
all that
I
stuff
don't need
is
that.
at least for me. But I mean, there are people in the military that have never really experienced it. They went in when they're fucking 18, and they like
I mean, you went
had
there when you were 20.
yeah. But I went to college. I understood the world. Again, like not everybody. I came from privileged backgrounds, so like
Yeah.
I had a lot of knowledge of the world. So for me, it was just kind of stupid. But for I think just for like bare bones for people that needed bare bones understanding of how life is outside the military, like it was probably somewhat decent for them. But since then, I know they've got this like program now where you can actually um, like get a job placement basically where you do
In the
like
military, like in the working for the government?
no like working for like a civilian job, like
Okay.
you can get placed like I
With a recruiter?
yeah kind of like companies will do this like program and like you get placed there and so it's like 6 months before you leave the military you
They
go
start
you
preparing you.
work there, you learn about the job, and if you do
Okay.
well then they offer you a position
Okay, that's
at the business.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's cool. I mean, like I a couple of people have reached out to me like on LinkedIn, that are transitioning military members, and like I actually love that I get to like talk to them and like kind of tell them what to expect and give them advice. And one of the kids, I say kid, but he was like I think he was like 30, um, gets like is getting out and like got positioned, was
Mm-hmm.
asking like about cybersecurity, what I do now,
Yeah.
and then he got placed and he was like he's super happy. So um,
So there is some help.
yeah,
They just don't drop you and leave you
yeah
right there
now it's a
after
lot
like
better. It
after
seems like
Vietnam.
yeah.
Then most of like the military after Vietnam are like homeless.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were homeless for also because they were doing a lot of opium and stuff over there, and like they weren't like controlled, and that was not very good. And then they weren't getting treated for it either afterwards. They basically didn't take care of
What type of music you used to listen while you
them.
were out on a mission? Like, can you even listen music out there?
Yeah, I mean, um, I would typically listen to music, and I was like flying in on the helicopters.
What would you listen to?
I had a bunch of different shit.
Like, what? Give me a couple songs that remind, like, if you listen it today, they're gonna just take you back to that moment.
um, I would listen to some 50 Cent.
Like what?
In the club. It's like old school. That's
No way.
yeah.
Right, like hanging out in the chopper.
Yeah, like flying in or like Rage Against the Machines. It's good. I didn't even listen to like classical music, dude. I listen to like Mozart. Going in. It was totally
Yeah.
dependent, dude. Fucking Carly Rae Jepsen, dude. What's that? Call Me Maybe.
Oh.
Listen to that shit. Just totally depended on what the mood I was in.
Here's my number.
Yeah,
Just call
nothing
me
like
baby.
American Dudes to Carly Rae Jepsen.
That's so crazy. All right. Thank you so much for being here, baby. Thank you
Of
for
course,
giving
my
me this
love.
beautiful interview. Hopefully, people love it. Hopefully, some of the curiosity that us civilian have are answered.
Yeah. Well,
And
hopefully I was able to answer it.
yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.